I'm Tyler Hendricks, your host for Unification Principle Study. Welcome to Session 5, the Standard of Original Value. Our last session showed that we find happiness by fulfilling God's three great blessings: individual maturation, devoted family life, and care for the creation. We concluded with these questions. How can we have good relationships? How can we decide what has value and what doesn't? What is good and what is not good? The answer has to do with value. How do we decide the value of a person or an action? We need a standard by which to measure value. The standard determines whether an object partner, for example, is beautiful or unattractive, right or wrong, good or bad, unimportant or important. What is that standard? In this chaotic and confusing world, the value we place corresponds to how we feel, or to the tint of the lenses by which we view the world. If we have rose-colored glasses, everything looks rosy. If we have blue glasses, everything is blue. So reality changes according to the condition of the window of one's heart. Most people have a look at the world centered on themselves. And when a self-centered value encounters the self-centered values of others, we end up with relativism, or the negation of value altogether. But this confusion about everything leads to conflict, sadness, and pain. It can be compared to a driver at an intersection who causes a huge traffic jam because he or she couldn't choose which direction to go. Our sense of values is formed through our daily experiences and education. The reason we study the unification principle is so that we can actually apply it and put it into practice in daily life by learning the core standard by which we can recognize what is true love, what is false love, what is principled, what is unprincipled, what is unselfish or selfish, what is original, what is just artificial. Unification principle education provides us this essential insight. We can differentiate substantial value and psychological value. Substantial value refers to the value of physical things, such as commodities. We measure these in relation to our common physical needs. Psychological value refers to truth, beauty, and goodness. We measure these by our intellect, our emotion, and our conscience. In either case, the value of anything cannot be determined in the abstract. It is always determined within a relationship. Value is always measured in relationship to the subject partner's needs. Value is determined by whether or not the object partner satisfies the subject partner's needs. And these can be external needs or internal needs, substantial needs or psychological needs. Therefore, value is assessed in relationship to the subject partner's motivation and purpose. For example, a knife's value differs greatly based on whether it is used for a medical operation or as a weapon in a robbery. So it is important to include the elements of motivation and purpose in order to determine value. The intellect, emotion, and conscience reflect the original values of the creation, the true, the beautiful, and the good. The subject partner of original value is God. And these values, the good, true, and beautiful, are measured in relation to God's purpose, God's motivation. The values of the original creation arise from God. Therefore, human beings in the subject-partner position need to center on God's purpose of creation in our relationship with object partners. A man or woman in the subject position who is centered on God's purpose of creation seeks the values of truth, beauty, goodness, and love in their object partner, according to the function of their intellect, emotion, and will. Doing so, we establish the purpose of creation through our object partner. The object partner's original value is realized when it stands as the absolute object partner to human beings in the subject partner position. From there comes forth its truth and beauty and goodness given by God. This original value is determined always through the four-position foundation centered on God. So the unification of the subject partner's desire to pursue value and the object partner's desire to display value takes the fourth position, the object partner position, to God, subject, object partners. Therefore, the original value of creation is revealed when the subject partner's desire to pursue value and the object partner's desire to display value combine, centered on God's purpose of creation. At that moment, since God is the center of the four-position foundation, the standard of value is also God himself. In this respect, the value of the original creation is absolute. Everything that God created has absolute value. Likewise, the absolute value is realized when God's ideal of creation is achieved through the three great blessings. At this point, the vertical force that the subject partner gives to the object partner is called love. And the vertical force that the object partner returns to the subject partner is called beauty. The power of love is active, and the stimulation of beauty is passive. In a relationship between God and human beings, God is the subject of love, and we, human beings, are the object partners of beauty. When we see a man and woman, a man becomes the subject partner of love, and a woman becomes the object partner of beauty. In the world of creation, human beings become the subject partners of love, and the world of creation becomes the object partners of beauty. But if the subject partner and the object partner enter into a state of harmonious oneness, love can exist within beauty, and beauty comes to exist within love. In the relationship between the nation and citizens, the beauty that the citizens return to the nation appears in the value of loyalty. The beauty that a subordinate returns to a superior appears as the value of loyalty. In the parent-child relationship, beauty appears as the child's filial piety toward the parents. And in the husband-wife relationship, the beauty that the wife returns to her husband appears as the value of fidelity. Should fidelity be only from the wife to her husband? No, the husband should also return fidelity to his wife. This we call absolute sexual ethics. The result of an action to pursue God's purpose of creation, centered on God, is good. And the result of an action to pursue Satan's purpose, centered on Satan, is what we call evil. Good and evil, therefore, start at the same point, human desire. But the difference is the motivation, the purpose, and the direction of that desire. When the desire is to establish the purpose of goodness, righteousness is the result. On the other hand, when the desire is selfish, whether centered on one's own self or one's own family or race or nation, then the result is unrighteousness. In order for us to manifest our original value, we need to direct our desires toward the good, according to the conscience, and according to the God-centered four-position foundation, based on loyalty, fidelity, and filial piety. This is the standard that can guide our lifestyle to achieve human happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, I pray that God can recognize your value and be able to say you are righteous. And I hope that you can live a life of goodness with loyalty, filial piety, and fidelity. But we all admit that we need to do some growing to get to that place. How do we grow? Is it by our own self-discipline? Is it by God's grace? How do we reach full maturity? What is full maturity? Our next sessions will cover this topic. Thank you very much.